Hello, we're back today to talk about a subject that comes up quite often in the comments: the reliability or lack thereof of the AR-15 family. So we're going to take advantage of this video to do a little research and see if the bad reputation of these weapons is a fable or based on reality. AR-15 variants and derivatives are used by armies and law enforcement agencies around the world. This leads us to believe that these are quality weapons, otherwise they would have been quickly replaced. However, this is not the case, and if we take the USA as an example, the Army has been using M16s, M4s, and other weapons based on Eugene Stoner's AR-15 since 1958. But despite more than 60 years of service, urban legend has it that the reliability of these rifles is criticized. In my opinion, the origins of this bad reputation lie in the problems encountered by American soldiers during the Vietnam War. Numerous incidents were documented, and it's true that this led to a loss of confidence in the US Army's new assault rifle. One might logically assume that these problems stemmed from the fact that the weapon was new and therefore not sufficiently tested to withstand the reality of combat. This is not entirely untrue, but there are three major causes. The first is a lack of understanding of the M16, its mechanism and the maintenance required to keep it running smoothly. The second is a certain skepticism about its innovative construction and the fact that it was a small company that designed this weapon. And finally, the third major cause is the change of cartridge powder. Let's look at each of these points to understand what really happened. Let's start by looking at the gun's mechanism. The M16 uses a fairly innovative system, inspired by the Johnson Model 1941 rifle for its rotating bolt, and the MAS-44 and its direct impingement system. Whereas the French rifle uses a direct gas impingement system, where the gases impact directly on the bolt carrier and ensure unlocking of the bolt, the M16 redirects the gases into an expansion chamber in the bolt carrier. The gas pressure will then force the bolt carrier backwards, forcing the bolt head to unlock. The gases are then evacuated through two vents on the right-hand side of the bolt carrier. This system is quite unique and eliminates the need for a piston. The combination of this gas impingement system, intermediate cartridge, and the straight line movement of the operating components makes for a weapon that recoils moderately when fired, even in automatic. This mechanism can be very reliable, but requires lubrication and cleaning. When the M16 was first introduced into the Army, it was described as such a revolutionary weapon, combining the precision of a sniper rifle with the firepower of a machine gun. And even more innovative, the system is said to be self-lubricating, so there's no need to clean or lubricate it. This is obviously not true, but that's how the weapon was presented to soldiers. What's more, the Army didn't systematically supply cleaning kits with the M16, at least not at first. As a result, M16s often suffered from problems linked to poor maintenance of this weapon, which was presented as so revolutionary. After all, you have to remember how far ahead of its time the M16 was in the 60s, with its aluminum construction and use of plastic. This innovative construction was also criticized, and some referred to the weapon as a toy because of the use of plastics and its low weight of just over 3 kilos. There was also skepticism within the Army, which was not accustomed to adopting weapons that didn't come from the Springfield arsenal. The M16 was designed at Armalite in California. Armalite is a subsidiary of the Fairchild Engine and Airplane Corporation. Eugene Stoner was chief engineer of the AR-10 and then the AR-15, which gave birth to the M16 adopted by the USA. He wanted to offer the Army a new, much more modern assault rifle, using lightweight materials derived from the aircraft industry. The process of adopting the AR-15 was difficult, and Armalite sold the patents to Colt in 1959. The first AR-15s sold to the US military were for the US Air Force. The Air Force's adoption of the AR-15 will enable the rest of the armed forces, previously highly skeptical, to take an interest. It would take time to convince the entire military, which didn't help the M16's reputation in its early days. Finally, one of the reasons for the many incidents involving the M16 was the ammunition used, and more specifically its powder. The AR-15 was developed in parallel with its ammunition, the 223 Remington, which gave birth to the 5.56 by 45mm. Stoner and his team had designed the AR-15 around a cartridge using a specific type of powder. For reasons of cost and logistics, the army decided to use another powder to recycle old stocks from the Second World War, without consulting Stoner. The problem was that this powder did not have the same pressure curve as the original powder, and this led to a dramatic increase in the rate of fire, causing accidents. In short, the problems of the early M16s were largely not due to their design, but to a misunderstanding of its operation, misuse, and the use of ammunition that had never been tested with these weapons. These are the reasons behind the bad reputation of the M16 and its derivatives. Criticism was spread by the media and then picked up by the general public. Does this mean that the M16 was a perfect weapon? Of course not. The early magazines weren't the most reliable and regularly caused problems. Mud and sand ingestion were also major concerns. The AR-15 was designed to prevent ingestion of sand or mud, thanks in particular to its dust cover protecting the ejection port. The idea behind this sealed system is to prevent extraneous agents from entering the system. Once inside the mechanism, these agents would have a very high probability of causing reliability problems. The M16 wasn't designed to be fired automatically all the time. The automatic mode should be used sparingly. The problem was that this weapon had been sold as this kind of ideal weapon capable of delivering the sustained fire of a machine gun. Using automatic fire too often fouled the weapon, reduced its accuracy due to its thin barrel, and could even rupture the gas tube, rendering the weapon unserviceable. The AR-15 is nonetheless an exceptional weapon in more ways than one, and it's no coincidence that it continues to be so widely used today. I hope this video has given you some insight into the reliability problems of the M16 family. Don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel, and if you wish, you can join the patrons who enable me to continue my work. On that note, see you soon for another video.